Hey ladies, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be discussing Miss Olandria from Love Island. She's killing it right now, and we're going to be discussing how she is benefiting from dark skin privilege and how you can too. And before you guys start hooping and hollering in my comments, I explore all women of color on my channel. I support all women of color. I'm not even a dark skinned woman myself, but I have a strong admiration for dark-skinned women, and we're going to get into the privilege that she is showing, especially as a slim dark-skinned woman, and how she is used it to her advantage and getting the best brand deals. So what I'm about to say is going to be confusing to some, but what you have to do is use your ears wisely. So what Olandria does is she reverses the stereotype. So every stereotype that's placed amongst dark-skinned women, she is the complete total opposite of, and that's why it's working in her favor. And I'm going to explain how she does it. So Olandria, she isn't loud, she isn't messy, she's not fighting for screen time, and that's exactly why people like her. Even when it's put in situations where she could be seen as, quote unquote, the angry black woman, she chose the higher road. For example, with all the racism that she was experiencing online and how she reacted to it, and the racism that she was receiving off the show, how she, just handled everything with grace instead of like lashing out or, taking that moment to like point the fingers or like to be aggressive with other people. She chose the moment to take it and spread light onto the dark skin community and to the black community and asking them to donate. Like, she took the negative and she turns it into a positive, and that's a point of how she is using her dark skin privilege to her advantage, right? And she's not trying to convince anyone that she's desirable. Like, she just assumes it, she just devours it, she just lives it. You understand? She has model like features as well, and she used those to her best advantage. I really love the fact that she got a great makeup team. I think that, her makeup team definitely does a good job at bringing out her features. She wears a lot of like purple, she wears a lot of like bright colors, she doesn't do too much with the eyeshadow, and then like she monetizes off this signature blush, and her skin is always glowing. So dark skinned women, they have like this kind of skin where they glow, especially like when like they have like a tan or whatever. So she uses like this brown like glow stick, and it really helps her skin stand out. So dark skinned women, they have the privilege and the ability of having skin that looks really glowy, especially like when you're using like a glow stick, or you're using like some shimmer. So Olandria, she knows what works for her, and she makes sure that she uses it on her skin so that her skin always looks like glossy and like dark and bright. Like you see how her skin like in the middle of her chest is like glowing, and how like she highlights her cheekbones. Like, she uses like what works for her, and she kind of reminds me of like Margot Robbie, like just the black version, like a Margot Robbie, like with her features, or like like the Adriana Lima's. She has like these strong like model features, and she uses those to her advantage. So the same features that people are online talking crap about her, saying like, oh, she looks like she looks like a monkey, oh, she looks like a man, because she has broader features, which they see these same features on lighter skinned women, and they don't say that, oh, that look like she looks like a man, she looks like whatever. So she uses those features, and she wears makeup that complements them, right? And those features, those same features that people talk negatively about, she uses those to her advantage in her modeling pictures. This is why a lot of people have put her in modeling shows, etc. So she's using things that work for her. She wears colors that work for her. I believe that a lot of dark skinned women, they look really good and like these neon colors. So you see Olandria, she wears a lot of like neon colors. She wear a lot of blacks, pinks. She wears a lot of like bright different colors, and she's always like experimenting. And because she's like slim, which I always tell black women, slim is still, the beauty standard. She, monetizes off her slim features and her slim body and her slim waist. So because she has like this small little tiny waist, she is like, most women, body goals. If you want to be thin and you want to be skinny, she like represents the body goals as well. So she represents like fitness. She's like going against all the odds. So she's using these stereotypes that people place amongst her against. She doesn't like overstyle, overperform. Shows a lot of discipline, elegance, and high value, especially with how she dresses. So this forces people to evaluate her without saying a word. She also uses her feminine energy to the best of her ability. So she wasn't trying to like overly dominate in the villa. Like she was very like emotionally regulated. Besides like her one episode that she had a little bit with Taylor, and even in that, like, she wasn't like, throwing anything at him. She wasn't like going crazy. She just, expressed a little bit of anger, but she didn't necessarily like go off as like most people would want her to, so that they can like paint her once again as like the angry black woman. And so she made people feel like safe with her. So her role in the villa, she really weaponized her femininity, because a lot of people felt safe with her. A lot of people felt comfortable coming to Olandria and talking to her, and they spoke on, how genuine she was when she had friendships, and how she was comforting to talk to. So she definitely, exhibited femininity within the villa, which, gave her a bright light, and she won a lot of the viewers over with her personality. So weaponize your femininity. And she doesn't lead with struggle. She leads with self-respect. And she doesn't make her identity a debate topic. Like, she's not like always like reminding people like, oh, I'm dark skinned, I'm dark skinned, I'm dark skinned. Like, she's just living in her glow. She's living in who she is. And she's letting, everyone speak for her, and she's letting her brand deals, she's letting her fashion deals, she's letting everything that's like good come to her. And she does a really good job of this. Even before she got with Love Island, she did a lot of like manifesting. And with like everyone wanting to see her fail, and like people making, comments about her online saying that like, she's unattractive, or oh, she's this, oh, she's that, all that does is draw more people onto her. And because it's so many people that like want her to lose, there's so many people that like want her to not win, it's causing more people to have more support for her. So that's what people don't understand. When you give people a lot of hate, or you give someone a lot of hate, there are going to be more people that support that person, because most people love the underdog. So Olandria was like the underdog of the villa. Like, she was the underdog. She wasn't someone that was like, put at the top of the line. I want to say like Huda was like the, the fan favorite or whatever. And from what I've seen from Olandria, she is, the most successful islander, because she has the most brand deals. She's like, dealing with the Grammys. She's dealing with the Grammys. She's at the Oscars. She's at the, she's at the Golden Globes. Like, she's all over the place. Her team is making sure that she is being seen and being treated like a celebrity, not an islander. Most people, when people see Olandria, they don't necessarily associate her with Love Island anymore. She has become her own personal brand. You too can become your own personal brand. And she's partnered with Nick, who I'm not sure if she knew this being in a villa, but she partnered with a man that could help her grow her career. Olandria said that she always wanted to model, and Nick was a model before he even came inside of Love Island. He was a model. So being as though those two have paired up as a couple outside of the villa, he was able to hook her up with agencies and connections that he had within the modeling industry. And this is why I tell women that, yes, I encourage you guys to level up outside of a man. I encourage you guys to, decenter men. But if you do have a man in your life, you should be using him to the best of your ability to social climb. She used Nick as an ability to social climb. So there's a lot of like people online that saying, oh my god, they're not a real couple, oh my god, they're not a real couple. I don't care if they're a real couple or not. What I do know is that she has used the interracial swirl Nick thing going on. She's used that to, you know, social climb, and it has helped her. And now she's a more bigger star than Nick himself, and she's like outshining Nick. Like, I rarely hear like anyone talk about Nick anymore. Like, it's all about like Olandria. I don't really see anyone really talk much about any of the islanders like that anymore, but you're constantly seeing Olandria, whether it's like all over Twitter or all over Instagram. I don't even have to follow her. I don't follow her at all, actually, to see her. I see her everywhere. So it's like, you don't have to follow her because she has made like a personal brand for herself. And Black women, when they utilize their thin privilege, they can use their thin privilege to, you know, social climb. Her thin privilege has gotten her into, you know, industries that she probably wouldn't been in if she was overweight. Okay. And I'm not trying to be mean when I said that, but this is why I always, you know, preach for women to prioritize their fitness. Olandria has prioritized her fitness, and because of her body shaped and her facial structures, her high cheekbones, she was able to, you know, put herself into modeling industries. People want different faces in the modeling industry, and the modeling industry is always looking for, you know, different kind of women, different kind of colors, different kind of women that can add more to it. So she has used her beauty and her privilege and her skin tone to, you know, gain more deals. She's in like all kinds of, you know, Black magazines. She's like, you know, the face of, you know, social media right now. Right now I see her more than I see everybody, like I said. And she's using that kind of, you know, that beauty privilege, that dark skinned girl glow privilege, to glow up and to get ahead in life. She's also using the stereotypes. Once again, she's using the stereotypes to her advantage. So she's not victimizing herself. Olandria is never a victim. Olandria doesn't victimize herself. She allows people to make her glow. She allows the haters to make her glow. The more people hate on her, the more brand deals she got. Did y'all notice that? Like, the more people like spun the racist narrative on her, like when that person called her the phone. It was like a kid that called her the phone or whatever, and he was, you know, talking about Olandria and saying these racist comments, and people were like, oh my god, like, we feel so bad for Olandria. Like, okay, let's give her another brand deal. You know, so like, you can utilize your dark skin privilege to your advantage, because a lot of people want to see you lose. So the best way to use your privilege is to win, is to ascend, is to overcome, because most people do not want to see you at the top. Most people do not want to see you at the top. And so Olandria, she's like breaking those odds, she's breaking those scales, and because like she's the underdog, she ended up being on top of everyone else. It's really just about, you know, being your best self, being self-confident, selective, calm, and letting that become your value. She's also very smart, so she goes against all stereotypes and odds, right? She's also a person that speaks well. I believe that she spoke at, you know, one of the colleges, and she has a degree. She's very, you know, attractive. She's very classy dressing. She wears things that benefit her body. She's wearing colors that benefit her glow. And I believe that she's a true inspiration to women of color, and especially darker women of color. So I want to say, you know, big kudos to, you know, Olandria. And if you benefit from dark skin privilege, let me know.